already know that when you come to jail, everybody jealous of what you done had in your life. That's just part of the culture. Like, I wish I would have had.
I just want to say this. First and foremost, there's no shame, no embarrassment in getting packed out, getting beat up. As long as you fight, you're respected. Now, did King fight? We don't know. I'm going to tell you my personal opinion about T.I.'s son, King.
King Harris has officially crashed into the lowest point of his whole life. That's happening in a way nobody except his father saw coming. T warned him this day would pull up sooner or later, and now that warning has hit him like ice water in the dark. The same kid who used to walk around acting untouchable is now locked up, stripped of everything he thought made him powerful: his fame, his freedom, and that loud pride he once carried like armor. Reports say King has been pleading for help after crossing the wrong crew inside the jail, and insiders claim those inmates didn't roll up for a simple scuffle. They came with a message. Word is some groups inside even marked him not to scare him, but to shut him down for real. Picture this: a once cocky 20-year-old pacing around a freezing county cell, the metal door banging shut so loud it shakes through his whole body. Witnesses say you could almost see his confidence draining right out of him, leaking away like air slipping from a beat-up balloon.
Like, I don't have no gang. I ain't in no gang. I got family. I got motherfuckers who willing to risk their lives and freedom to die by me and mine. You hear me? Well, don't f***ing play with me, man. Don't play with my motherfucking child, ever.
Insiders reveal that this was the exact moment King finally cracked, grabbing the phone and calling his father with a voice full of pure desperation. Just months earlier, he was online flashing weapons, talking slick to rivals, and clowning anyone who even hinted he wasn't tough but inside that jail. All that online attitude vanished instantly. No Wi-Fi, no camera, no cheering crowd, no audience to hype him up. Just the cold silence of men who've lived through real battles, men who don't care who your father is. Because behind those steel doors, last names mean nothing. There's no luxury, no special treatment, no reset button. Sources say King's whole downfall started because he cracked a joke at the wrong time, trying to clown older inmates like he was still filming a skit for his socials. But this wasn't some parking lot argument. There were no fans recording, no crowd laughing, just serious men staring at a wealthy kid who didn't understand where he was.
What you want to do? What you want to do? You from here?
Yeah, I'm from here. Yeah, I'm from here.
All right, so...
Oh, hell yeah, let's go.
What's up with you, bro? What's up with you, bro?
Let's go.
Putting your hand around me, talking out your ass like you want to do something. What's up, bro?
Oh, Lord.
What's up, bro?
Nothing.
What? Relax, or what?
Nothing.
Or what? Or what?
Nothing.
Or what? Because you just tried me like a police.
This could be a game.
Give out your business, my nigga. Give out your business, my nigga.
I think he wants you to peel.
And once the word spread that the loudmouth kid was actually T's son, everything flipped instantly. The energy on the block changed so fast you could almost feel it: heavy, sharp, dangerous. King wasn't just another inmate anymore. He was a target. Some wanted bragging rights for breaking him down. Some held old grudges tied to his father's name. A few simply wanted to prove that celebrity blood means nothing behind locked doors. Shaken and completely out of his depth, King reportedly rushed to the jail phones, voice shaking as he called his father, Clifford T. Harris. In one chilling recording, he muttered, "Wait till I get back and see him," sounding half angry and half shattered. That confident tone he used to have, gone.
And he told me that it was okay. So that's the only time. Inside any other time, I don't even call the police like for accidents. It ain't even no 911 call with my voice on it. I don't break in my house.
What came out instead was pure real fear that nobody can fake. And for the first time in his life, King Harris finally understood the truth his father preached for years. Fame, dose, and tea keep you safe, and your last name can't shield you behind steel bars. But to really understand how everything spiraled, you gotta roll the clock back to October 2024. King Harris wasn't caught in some dramatic chase through Atlanta or Wild Street raid. Nope, this whole disaster started in the quiet suburbs just minutes away from luxury. Picture King sliding out of a gas station in his black BMW, music blasting, head up like he owned the whole world. till he almost sideswiped a police cruiser. One reckless turn was all it took. Suddenly, those blue and red lights popped on like fate itself was warning him something serious was coming. Officers say the moment they walked up, they smelled weed and saw weapons sitting out in the open like a spotlight was shining on them. And from that second on, his whole life changed. When officers ran his name, everything crashed in a single moment. 8 old bench warrant popped up, and boom, it was over for King Harris right there on the spot.
I'm the only one on here who got bad-ass kids.
We all go through.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you ain't got no bad-ass kids, you got one and you got lucky. You hear me? Anybody with 3 or more,
multiples.
You got one that you don't know what the hell you gonna do with.
The son of a trap legend found himself face down on the pavement, cuffs on his wrists, cameras rolling, and TMZ blasting his mug across every screen in America. Those clips spread so fast it looked like the whole internet was waiting for him to slip, showing King in cuffs with this strange mix of shock and fake confidence painted across his face. Now here's the million-dollar question. If you were T, would you swoop in and save him yet again? Or finally let him drown in the storm he created? Because this moment wasn't just another flashy arrest. This was the start of a generational clash. Father's warnings colliding with his grown son's pride in the rawest way possible. At first, the footage almost came off funnyking.com, relaxed, even polite, like he practiced for this exact scene.
I can't judge how the parenting is gone, because everything that we've seen has been stuff that many of us would have said or similar if we saw our children do this. But I will say this, a lot of what's happening is because it's in the public. Like most children don't have to.
When officers asked about the weapons, he didn't blink. "You're gonna find my guns," he said. Cool, like he was pointing out snacks in the glove box instead of actual firearms. And by sunrise, by some miracle or privilege, the charges were softened, and King walked out free again. Just another celebrity hitting the system for a night, nothing new. But even though the law backed off quick, the damage was already carved into the culture. Every headline screamed T.I.'s son arrested with guns and weed. Every gossip page repeated it, until the story felt like it was carved into the internet forever. And the painful part? The world finally saw the truth T feared. A kid born into comfort, chasing the life his father fought hard to escape. Even when the legal smoke cleared, the cultural explosion only got louder. That body cam footage turned King into a living contradiction. A walking meme of rich kid, forcing himself into a street identity he didn't earn. Fans roasted him, haters clowned him, and suddenly the whispers in the streets turned darker. People weren't just laughing anymore.
Behind steel bars.
Yes, sir. There's one in the head. Does your buddy have one as well? No, brother. Alright, just hang tight right here for me. Let me clear this. I don't want any accidental fires.
There's no safety. You gotta take.
There's no safety.
No motherfucking way. They got the wrong man, wrong guy. What the fuck is that? They got drones flying and shit.
Rumors started spreading that King didn't just spend one boring night in holding, he ran into the wrong crowd inside. And that's when the whole story flipped into something way more serious. It wasn't about embarrassment anymore. It was a story of survival, because inside a cell, there's one rule everyone knows. Respect is currency, and if you spend it wrong, you end up broke fast. King Harris raised in comfort, trying to prove he had grit, reportedly walked in loud, cocky, and full of that internet attitude he throws around online. But jail isn't Instagram, and the people inside are not comment section trolls you can clap back at with a meme. These were men who've lived through real pressure lifers, hustlers, people with nothing left to lose. And word inside says King was talking slick, cracking jokes, maybe even dropping his father's name like it gave him some kind of shield. Huge mistake. Behind those bars, arrogance can put a target on your back faster than fear ever could. Within hours, the whispers were moving through the block like smoke. That's T's boy right there. Some saw opportunity, some saw old grudges, and others just wanted to test the weight of hip-hop royalty in a cage. Suddenly, King wasn't just another inmate, he became a symbol. Every move he made was watched, every word he spoke judged, because inside that place, he wasn't just representing himself anymore. He was carrying his whole family name on his shoulders. He wasn't just repping himself anymore. He was carrying the entire Harris legacy on his back. And one wrong move meant the whole family name could get dragged through the dirt in front of the world. Even Atlanta pride couldn't shield him this time. Suddenly, King Harris had the whole hip-hop community watching, holding their breath as the tension behind those walls grew darker and more dangerous by the day. Insiders say it didn't take long before he got cornered, facing threats that went way beyond some quick scuffle in the showers. These warranty people trying to scare him for bragging rights, they wanted to make an example out of him. Their message hit with the force of ice. Fame won't save you here. That's when the panic finally snapped through him. The bravado was gone. The light smirks he always flashed disappeared. All those loud claims about being built for this life, they evaporated in seconds. Sources say King realized just how deep he had sunk when the whispers started floating through the block. Quiet hints that certain groups weren't interested in roughing him up. They were allegedly planning to erase him completely. That's the moment real fear took over, and he sprinted to the jail phones, voice shaking as he begged T to step in. He needed help immediately, hoping money, influence, or old connections could be used to calm down a situation that had already passed the point of no return. For months online, King had been writing checks with his mouth. And now, those checks bounced hard. The price? His own safety. Aid. He had warned him for years, repeating the same message like a slow drumbeat. This road doesn't end in glory. This road ends in a cell. But like plenty of stubborn 20-year-olds, King believed he knew better. The world saw that pride on full display during that viral Falcons game in 2023. One where father and son almost turned their VIP suite into a UFC cage match. King insisted he wasn't raised with privilege, shouting that he grew up at his grandma's house, not inside the comfortable home T and Tiny built. He wanted to show he was raw, gritty, someone who earned respect from the trenches, insiders said. Meanwhile, T, who had already survived federal gun cases, real danger, real pressure, just stared at his son like he was watching a rerun of his own past. Except this time, the script was twisted. He knew exactly what cuffed wrists felt like. He knew the sound of those steel doors slamming shut. He knew the danger King was playing with like it was a video game. So when that desperate call came from Jail King's voice cracking, begging for help, he felt the sting of irony hit deep. The same son who used to roll his eyes at every warning was now pleading with the very man he once tried to outshine. But this time, T didn't jump online. No emotional rants, no comments, no free my son hashtags. Just silence cold. Heavy silence that said everything without saying a word. Behind the scenes though, phones were burning up. Lawyers were being contacted. Old industry connections reached out quietly. Word on the street says even OGs from Atlanta's underworld were being tapped. People T had crossed paths with decades ago. T.I. was allegedly pulling every string he could find, digging through his entire network, calling in favors he never thought he'd de-needle to make sure his son made it out alive. This wasn't just about saving a reckless young man. It was about protecting the Harris's legacy. For T, this wasn't only a father's responsibility. It was a moment of redemption. It's a chance to rewrite a prophecy he felt coming long before anyone else noticed. Because deep down he knew one truth that never changes behind those steel bars. It doesn't make you safer in jail, fame, only makes you a bigger target, a brighter spotlight, a louder reminder of everything some people inside feel they never had. And now the question everyone is whispering behind those walls is simple but brutal. Was King Harris doomed from the jump? Could any of this have been avoided? Or was fate always waiting to catch up to a young man carrying a name way heavier than he ever understood? Drop your thoughts, because this story isn't slowing down, it's unfolding in real time, and every new detail keeps adding more heat. Sure, the internet exaggerates sometimes, but these whispers are getting way too consistent to brush off anymore. Multiple blogs, hip-hop forums, and even street insiders are all claiming the same chilling thing. King Harris's situation is far from finished. And the danger inside those walls might have only just started. Some sources say those groups weren't just trying to humble him, they had something way darker in mind. These weren't people looking for a fair fight or a quick test of pride. No, they wanted to erase him in the world of jail politics. Taking down a celebrity son is like striking gold. It's instant status, instant respect, a fast track to being remembered on that block forever. For some of those men, making an example out of King wasn't just about fours, it was about power, the type of power money and fame can't buy. And here's the wildest twist according to whispers inside. It wasn't even his last name that made him a target at first. It was his own mouth. Sources say King walked in mocking older inmates, talking slick about money, bragging about fame, acting like a superstar in a place where nobody cares about followers. Then someone dropped the line that changed everything. That's T's boy. And just like that, the whole block flipped. The air got heavy, the energy shifted, and tension started creeping through the halls like smoke. Suddenly, King wasn't just another loud young inmate. He turned into a symbol, a billboard for every grudge ever held against the Harris name. Every bit of resentment toward fame and privilege, every man who felt ignored or overlooked by the industry saw a chance to send a message. King became that message. Insiders say that's when T went into full panic mode behind the scenes. This wasn't about bail money anymore, or some quick legal play. This was survival mode. The type of situation where deals aren't made on paper, but with fear, favors, and quiet conversations in the dark. You don't know what the hell you're gonna do with that. One insider reportedly said, describing how deep things truly got for the Harris family. The reality was harsh. King had spent years trying to prove he was real, but now reality itself was threatening to break him. And here's the part that cuts the deepest. King had just become a father in late 2024. Holding his baby boy, King Jr., should have been the moment he leveled up, the moment that pushed him to finally grow and step into the man he kept saying he already was. But instead of changing course, the same old patterns pulled him back in exactly like T always feared. One generation fought tooth and nail to escape the trap, only to watch the next one sprint right back toward it. For T, this fight isn't just about protecting his son from a few bruises or another arrest photo. It's about breaking a curse. It's about stopping history from spinning on repeat like a mixtape stuck in a loop. It's about proving that hip-hop royalty can raise sons who get swallowed by the same streets their fathers barely survived. Now the crossroads couldn't be clearer. King can either step into adulthood and finally claim his role as a father, an artist, and a man with purpose, or he can keep sliding down the same dark road that almost ended his father's life story. Because those groups inside Aaron T waiting for his next single, they re-waiting for his next mistake. And in that world, mistakes aren't small, they're deadly. So the real question isn't just whether King Harris survives jail-it, as whether he survives the cycle. Can he break free from it, or will he end up another headline? Another tragedy built from fame, pride, and self-destruction. Drop your thoughts in the comments, share your take, and lock in with the channel. This story is still unraveling. Every day brings new whispers, new moves, and new danger. You don't want to miss what comes next because the Harris legacy is hanging by a thread, and the ending of this story still hasn't been written.